How's it going, folks? My name's Matthew, aka EZBOT, and today we're going to have a look at the Elektron Tonverk live, which I think is always a fun way to dive into something that's brand new. So we'll be able to answer some questions if you have some in the chat. I've had the Tonverk. Let's take a look at it real quick. I've had the Tonverk for a short period of time, very short. I'm still on an earlier firmware. But it has all the features in it, and we're going to check out how it works. I know that there's been a loop pop video that just came out, and it went very deep into the unit. So if you want to have some very specific instruction about stuff like that, there's a video for that. Today we're going to talk about, like, how are you actually going to use this unit with your setup? Like, what are you going to do with the Tonverk? How does it work? What are we going to pair it with? What's the point of this new release? You know, what is Elektron thinking? What's my opinion on that? That's what we're going to dive in today. I'm going to show you how it works and some stuff that I've already done with it. I haven't really made very much music with it as I've been diving into how it functions as a unit. Where is it going to fit in my setup as somebody who uses a Digitact, a Digatone, and an Octatrack? Does it replace an Octatrack like everybody's asking? I would say absolutely not. This is nothing like an Octatrack. In fact, it has some similarities to a Digitact, but it's really nothing like a Digitact. It doesn't have the same sampling functionalities, and that's not what it's for. This is a sound sculptor. The point of this is to make new sounds out of maybe your existing gear in your studio. The auto sampler on it is extremely easy to use. Here's one of the patches that I made using the auto sampler. This is my little modular skiff that you see above me. It's a monocinematic running into beads, running into a mimeophone, running into an FX aid, into another FX aid, then into the Tonverk, and it auto sampled it for me. Each sample was set to 6 seconds long. It's about 180 megabytes for the sample. It's got 4 gigs of RAM, active RAM, for you to play on. Pretty wild. I actually hit the sample button. We'll do an auto sample now as well, or today during the stream. And I walked away. I hit the auto sample and I left my studio and I went and got myself a cup of coffee and came back and I had a new instrument using my modular synthesizer. And to be fair, that's where this is going to shine. Are you a modular user? You should always have an Octatrack for one. That's what you should pair with your modular. But if you want to take your modular patches, these weird sounds that you've made, take some weird noise engineering module and ping it and then turn it into an instrument, or make a drum kit, which you could do on some of the other instruments, but process them with all these crazy sounds and all the different effects bus routing. That's what this thing does. So it's very unique. It doesn't treat you the same way the Digitact 2 or the Digatone 2 does. It doesn't have all of those same quality of life features that those units have, let's say. It's more akin to the Mark II units, the flagship models, but then it adds on top of that stuff that we've never seen. I have this list that I want to share of things that we've never seen from Elektron. It's kind of a long list, so let me just talk it to you really quick. 64 voices. Each track has 8 voices. Subtracks have 8 voices. These could be drum kits. A transform menu, so that you can just create a grid of velocity adjustments or random placement of triggers. We have new time signatures. We have multi-samples, which we already talked about. We have auto sampling. We have subtracks. We have a super track, which isn't like a bonus or anything like that. It's just how it functions. Then we have sequence lanes, which is actually really sick, and we're going to go into that because that's really dope. 16 pages of sequencing, which is crazy, but we don't have a page loop, but we can jump through pages, so that's a little different. Memory and recall instead of function yes, function no, so something built into it that anticipates you're going to do function yes, function no. Built-in vibrato on your synthesizers, that's pretty unique. A mod envelope, which we've been waiting for on Digitech 2 and Digatone 2. Tons of new effects, some of them only available in some situations. For instance, something that I have a little gripe with, but I think is still dope regardless, is that there's a sidechain input where you can, have something choose the sidechain input like you would expect from a compressor, but it's only available on the master track. And I would prefer that only be available in the subtracks or on Ascend or something like that. So that's strange, but this is the beginning. I'm imagining this is going to be something that grows and grows and grows into an instrument that like people can't live without eventually. And right now I think it's already in a space where it could replace your modular synth or at least be a perfect pairing to your modular synth. Effects tracks and routing is something they've never done except for with Octatrack, but it's a little different. Extended filter routing, which is really sick. Dedicated step edit menu, a fill edit menu. Even though there are these fill edit options were always available, it was just key combos and other devices. And new keyboard scale modes. For the inserts, we have 11 inserts for instruments, 14 inserts for bus effects, 6 send choices, and 15 master effects. 2 different reverbs, 2 different delays, and a bunch of other chorus and phasers. Okay, that is the long list of things we've never seen before on any Elektron box, all in the new Tonverk. Let's take a look at the Tonverk. So, this is just me using random fill trigs on a couple of subtracks. This doesn't sound like anything you've ever heard in Elektron because the sample rates are like 44, 48, 96. I don't think it goes to 192, but it goes to like 96, which is wild. So you can use extremely high fidelity samples in this, and because it has 4 gigabytes of RAM, you can go nuts. But you can just capture crystal audio from your modular synthesizer. I'm telling you, this is the friend of your modular that you're going to make a patch, and your patch is actually going to have some value when you're like, oh my God, that sounds so cool. I wish it was a synthesizer. Well, now it is. That's what this does. Super fast, auto sampling works pretty well. This is just a bunch of drums. Sounds like some tribal tunes. And that's just me hitting like the fill transform section and just adding a bunch of random placement of triggers, and it just starts making music. Pretty wild. We've never seen that either. We can randomize menus and stuff like that, but we've never seen a random placement or a velocity adjustment for your track. I would love to see it give you some like parameters, like, because you can do this in stuff like the Hermod, and some of the Squarp sequencers can do stuff like this, where you can say like generate this stuff, but they'll also give you like these min-max values. Would love to see that added to the unit, but I'm just happy to see that it's here already. It's pretty cool. Is it mono on the stream? It shouldn't be. No, looks pretty stereo to me. Yeah, look at this. Okay, so for instance, let's go into chord mode real quick. Function, chord. I'm in chord mode. This is my little modular skiff. And we can add a bunch of effects to it. Right now I'm using the reverb. Super Void Reverb is Elektron's reverb. That's the name of the reverb. So it's not like a new special reverb. They do have a new reverb that's in here that is different from their other reverbs. And we can change the send effects, which is really sick. So you can have so many effects on it, because you can route stuff out, route stuff back in, and then you can bus it through stuff, and then you can take a bus and send it through another section. I haven't even looked. Can you take a bus and send it through another bus? Perhaps you can. No, you cannot. No, that would be interesting, wouldn't it? But the routing options are really cool and really unique, and this is just something to like, you can get really lost and dive into. The thing I would compare this to the most is the Octatrack, and that's just because it has so many effects and because it has like these bus concepts. But I wouldn't say it's anything really like that instrument. You're not going to use it for sampling in the way that you sample on an Octatrack. You're not going to sample a chunk of a record and chop it up and throw beats behind it. That's going to happen in your Digitech. That's going to happen in your Octatrack. This, you're going to record something cool and turn it into a poly synth. So if you like poly stuff, if you like playing chords and melodies and arpeggios and that kind of stuff, this is that thing. I wouldn't say, and it's also a thing if you want to just do some weird stuff, because it has a lot of weird stuff. Okay, so let me put this chord in. I'm just going to delete this whole pattern. Okay, and we're going to put down a trigger on step 1, and I'm going to make it a chord. So I'll hold the trigger, put that in. Let's give it a longer trig length. Well, I guess in chord mode, when I put this down, you saw it triggered those notes, but that is not recorded into my notes, so we're gonna go, or do I have it on a monophonic mode? Let's take a look at this. There we go, that's a pretty chord. I forgot. So this is where it gets interesting. It's different, trust me, and there's a lot to get used to. If you're used to working on a digitact or a digatone, this is where you're gonna be like, what? What is happening? This is just different. So we have a step edit mode, and the step edit mode is actually really sick. So in step edit, you can just select triggers without deleting triggers, and you just adjust them. If you want to program chords, you want to be in this mode. So this is where you put chords down. Just so you know, because I've already been, you know, when they did the update from Syntac to Digatone and they moved the mute section, or when you would go to the mutes and where the song and added a song button, and how hard that was to adjust to, that's a little bit of this. So sometimes you're just like, why are, you know, things are here and this does something different than what I'm used to on the other machines. So there's some stuff to get used to. But it sounds amazing. So I love that this is my modular. It sounds fantastic. Let's make this longer. Scale set to infinite. I love that. We can go to the second page. I can hold page and go to another page. All right. Let's delete this trigger. I don't want that trig. What's also unique and very cool, I think, is the fact that we can go into our sequence lane. And I'm not sure if anyone saw this in the other videos. I'm sure it got covered. But in the sequence lanes, you can either just edit the notes and leave your P-locks, or just edit your P-locks and leave your notes, or you can be in the default mode, which is edit your P-locks and your notes at the same time. But this allows you to have a much more surgical workflow on your sequences. And I think it's pretty important considering that most of the work you're going to do on here is going to be with the effects. Half the machine is dedicated to you programming the effects. And so that's kind of what it's all about, right? And because it's got so many chord options and sequencer scale options, it's crazy. Let's just say it's a crazy machine so far. Let's run some effects on this. Get out of this mode. If we want to adjust our send effects, you can go to your send track, hit effect. Oh, I'm in perform mode. Somehow I'm always in perform mode. And you can change your send effects. Right? Pretty sick. Got our chorus. It's pretty dope. So you just go to each one of your effects you want to add and adjust it. You can go in here and change how it functions. I made my chorus really wide. We can hear how that sounds. Go back to my track. This is the thing. This is the thing right here. Whoa. I was in perform mode when I put that chord down. Okay, let's go ahead and do that again. Step edit. Make the trig longer. I've been in perform mode, like, woo, crazy sounds. Let's take a look at what I have loaded in my effects. Nothing currently. You know what I really like is this built-in vibrato. Like, this is crazy. We go to the step edit. You're playing 3 chords at a time? I'm not. So this patch that I made has a 5th on every note, so it just sounds huge. You love seeing Matt hunt around the buttons? You're gonna be seeing this a lot because it takes a long time to get used to a unit. Listen to that. I don't have anything in my studio that sounds like that. I have my modular, which I find to be a total pain in the ass to use. Most of the time, like I don't dread using my modular or anything like that, but I get a little frustrated at how long it takes me to set stuff up to get a patch. And then what happens afterwards is I unpatch it, there's something to love about that, but my God, this sounds awesome. But let's change some of the effects. If I bring this reverb down, let's check out some of the insert effects just on this chord, for instance. Function effect, let's look at chrono pitch. This can be like a granular delay, which is pretty cool. So let's listen. Let's pitch it up like an octave. Listen to this. We have like grain delay. This almost sounds like beads that I used beads to make this patch. It almost sounds like I'm using it again. This is the LFO depth that makes it really weird. Have a little vibrato on my delay. It's crazy, right? There's just nothing else like this, especially from Elektron. The filter is new to me. The filter sounds completely different than their other stuff. It squelches, like it screams. And this could do like some really wild patches. Let's load up let's listen to a couple patches and then we'll try and make a beat. We'll try and make some music on this thing, because it would take us literally hours and hours and hours to really show off everything that it can do, because it's one of those machines. Honestly, this is why it's like the Octatrack, because the Octatrack can be anything you want. I love the Octatrack, right? And I've made the Octatrack into something entirely different for me. Like, my performance case with it is performance effects and all these crazy routings and assigning things to the fader and doing scenes and build-ups and using the sequencer with that. You can't do that on here, but you could process stuff on the Tonverk and get some really weird stuff. You could do some performance stuff. Wouldn't be the same experience, but why it's like the Octatrack really is because the Octatrack has like unlimited options on what you can do with it. It's just kind of like, here's a canvas what would you like to paint today? And the Tonverk is like, here's a canvas. It's kind of shaped, you know, in a different way than the Octatrack, the canvas might be, but it still says, what would you like to paint with this canvas? And maybe it's like a 4D canvas instead of a 3D canvas like the Octatrack. So you're just in a little weirder space than you're used to being in. But they both let you come up with a new way of using the unit. Like it could be for you, you choose how it works. Like the Octatrack, you choose how it works. Digitack, Digatone, they are what they are. Drum machine, sampler, synthesizer. That's what it does. This doesn't have to be that. This can be all sorts of stuff. And I imagine with some more updates and some more quality of life updates that get added to this, could become something that is like your one-stop shop for making your patterns on. Maybe it replaces your Digitact and your Digatone all in one unit. Maybe if they add all the features that would be required to get there. And I know the CPU can handle it. But it is a possibility. All right. Let's grab a patch. So you have a couple different options for grabbing patches. You can like just go into a machine. I'm gonna delete whatever I have here. You can go in here and grab a machine. So if I want to grab the multiplayer machine, it immediately says like, which one would you like to use? Like, listen to the stereo. Listen to how good these sound. How stereo that is. Because that was recorded in stereo. Sounds insane. Josh, thank you for the tip. Yes, I would think it'd be cool for, I think it's good. I don't know. I was gonna say it's good standalone. I've yet to be seen. Listen to this, we got a piano. Haven't had a piano in Elektron. Pretty cool. Like, that's dope. That's goofy. Ooh. Love that sound. Da 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 da. So wide, so big. Whew. Listen to that. And these aren't even being processed by all the effects. Oh, that sounds great. What? I love these ominous sounds. Crazy. Just with the presets alone, like, people are gonna be making bangers. Comes with a lot of sounds. A lot of sounds. Utility muffins, gotta have those. Yes. Drum and bass. Sick. Wow, that is nice. These basses are so good. All right, I gotta use this. I'm sorry. All right. I just need to know. Turn this down. Turn this effect off. Okay, here's, listen, I had to go backwards through this sound to get to this lovely flute sound, this. And I'm gonna put it down. I'm gonna go to step edit mode, not this mode, but step edit mode, and go. We'll go like that. There's no hold the trigger in Audition. I'll go function yes and audition my chord like you can on the Digatone 2. I hope they add that feature. Right now it's, you just have to put your fingers back on the notes. That's where it's at the moment. Let's have this go for full bar. And also, let's do 4 bars. Get out of step edit. Back into this edit. This is what I'm talking about. There's me moving through the pages. There's stuff to do. Okay, that sounds nice. Let's go to page 3. I'll put another chord in on this. I like that it just auto-populates there. Or this, maybe? Let's turn this up. Maybe I copy this trigger. My dog is going insane. Sorry about that. Hopefully she'll stop soon. Get out of here. Paste this here. Go back to this trigger and remove it. Maybe we'll make that last trig not so long. Okay, let's listen to some of these crazy effects. It's the comb filter. It has modulation built into it. And this is what I'm talking about. This is where this gets weird. Here's a freeze. It's like a glitch freeze. Sounds a little bit like the HyperFX stuff that I make. My aux track. I don't know if I like Dropout very much. That's kind of cool. Okay, so now we could go to a track and go like, I'm gonna use a subtrack. So subtracks, you can audition the kit. So there's a ton of these kits. Let's check out this acoustic kit. I love this. I do love these kits. This acoustic kit sounds great. Oh, whoops. I didn't mean to do that. So we could put some triggers down. I didn't mean to put a kick there. What happened to my chord? On track 4. My chord progression. I don't know. The triggers are there. Let's switch to the breezy flute. Did I mute it? Is this crazy effect making it not start? No? Didn't mean to put that there. We could go to this hi-hat track and we could transform the velocity and just kind of randomize it. So something to know. I don't know what happened to that, to my track 4. I am on a beta firmware, so I think that that's probably what happened. See if we just load a sample in here. That seemed to fix it, yeah. That's pretty cool. Whew. But now, let's offset this. I guess this is how you make music. Alright, let's route this whole drum track into a bus and mess with this bus. So function routing, and let's go to track 1 and send it to bus 1. Which has already got some weird stuff going on it. Dirt shifter. Drive gets really loud, so let's turn this down forward. The rectifier like really destroys samples. Well, this is gonna be a noisemaker for sure. That's too loud for YouTube. Alright, this actually sounds pretty good. So let's do another effect. The low-pass filter is pretty strange. Let's try the frequency warper. Alright, This clearly is super sick. Let's sequence it. Look at my sequencer. I'm doing some weird stuff. Looking a little strange. Alright. Weird. So you can also, when you're in the muting mode, you can hold the track and say like, go here instead. Take it out of that weird bus and use this as performance effects, but you can only hold one track at a time. It's like add another element. It takes a long time to write music. Back to the multiplayer. My patch. I clearly have some crazy effects on here. Wow, it sounds actually really cool. I'm gonna record that in. Because it's going to track bus 1. You can also adjust the routing right here, right? Take it straight to the mains. Yeah, let's get a bass. We'll leave this because it's kind of cool. Let's bring it down a little bit. Also, let's filter this. Always a smart move when you're programming chords is to not keep all the chords like bunched together, like move your bass around and stuff, which I haven't done yet. So let's do that really quick. So I hold page and I can jump through my pages. This is a good quality of life feature that was added to Digitag 2 and Digatone 2. We like that. So let's take this, bring it there. This. Not hearing that portamento yet. Okay, let's get a bass. These modulators. So many modulators. I guess this bass needs. That's pretty cool. Needs some beef. You can have this be mono. If we go into our setup, or is it in here? No. Ah, here it is. There's poly with mono LFO, so it uses one LFO, so it keeps all the notes on the same LFO. Otherwise, it has an LFO per voice, so 8 LFOs per track, which is pretty cool. But we can set it to mono for our bass. Okay, let's check something out too. We go into this chord section. We don't need to turn chord on. This is just where the scales are. We can turn a scale guide on. So I actually cannot go outside of it when I use filter. Snap will just keep me in the scale no matter what note I hit. So like this performing live, if you want to guide snap, will teach you your scale, but also not let you go out of the scale. We're not in C Aeolian right now. We're just in C major, which is a regret that I'm having right now. But that is interesting to see. Let's just throw a trigger down here. What page am I on? 4 of 8. No, we're just working at 4 bars right now. Copy page. Let's put it on page 1. All right, go into step edit. Have this trigger be, it already is. kind of like how that works. This like workflow. Like a phaser on it. This is like a very chill tune. We'll make something else in a second. Phaser's kind of nice on the bass. Maybe not. Sucked all my volume away. Panoramic chorus. Back to track 1, snares, right? I don't know what they are. Me at least another page of this stuff. Nice. Retrig. Oh, that's weird. Alright, something, you can go here to like jump into presets. You have all drums and keys. You cannot audition these sounds. You just have to know what they are. We could use this echo piano. I mean, this is like not stuff that I would normally make on any Elektron box. This sounds a little more like what some of the stuff I come up with in my DAW with the endless options that I would have there. We could put a master effect to our mix section. Turn up this compressor. Just have it compress everything the same. Master compressor is always nice to have. Without the compressor, with the compressor. There's no indicator for how much compression you're doing, but you can hear it. Just needs to make a gain. At least it's too high. Get one effect on your master. Or two effects, I'm sorry. No, one effect. Yeah. So you could put a, here's what I would do. You either put a master compressor on it. Filter bank I don't think it really does very much. Where is the low pass multi-mode filter? Here we go. Here's your master. You could have it as a high pass-through performance. That's cool. I like the idea of throwing everything into a master effect. Oof. Oh, sick. Warble sounds awesome on this. That's actually really cool. Oh. What on earth? Jesse Humes, what's up? How do you read what measure you're on? Right here. We're only playing in, like, this sequence is only playing in 2 bars, but you can't read the, like, the master measure. Oh, no, we're only working at 2 bars, because we're doing, it's all, yeah, we're at 2 bars. It's set to infinite, so, like, there is no master other than my change. So good to see you, Jesse, by the way. Boy. Me and Jesse used to work together at the synth shop for years and years. Okay. Okay. Fun. Cool unit. Weird stuff. Let's try some other stuff. Let's just go to a new pattern. You know, I love to just give up and start over and over again. Let's do a multi-sample of the synthesizer. So I'm going to go to track 8, turn this into a MIDI track. Wait, actually, I'm going to load an instrument preset, function file, preset, load. I made a MIDI instrument. Hopefully it's at the Monumatic MIDI, so I already have a MIDI instrument. Awesome. None of the... I guess that doesn't work. Okay, whatever. Maybe that's... maybe I screwed up. I don't know. All right, so now we need to bring the Monumatics audio in, so I can go to my mod section. I should be coming in. Oh, I turned it down here. Okay, so I have this running through a whole plethora of effects, okay? We got this little modular. We're gonna multi-sample. And you're gonna sit with me while it does it. Because it takes time. That's a nice sound. Right? That's kind of cool. Maybe get something like this. So let's just leave this filter out of it. This is the modular. Let's just get it dry. Or dry with beats. I guess we'll just do this. Okay, go to our sampler, press down, go to the right, let it do its test. It's gonna figure out the latency, which it does have. And it's also gonna figure out the release stage for auto sampling. Move to the next stage and we decide how much sampling we wanna do. We're gonna do one layer. It says it knows how long to do it for. It says the samples for 1 second, or estimated time 2 minutes and 35 seconds. That's how long it's gonna take for us. But while it's doing that, you can leave. Let's just check it out. So maybe we can sit here for 2 minutes 30 seconds and talk while it does this. This is it, my friends. This is auto sampling. Whoa, look at the chat going insane on there. Why? Oh, there we go, caught up. That was kind of cool. Yeah, what do you all think so far? It's an interesting device. We can turn this down. We don't have to listen to it auto sample. We'll just have it lightly auto sample in the background. You're watching the real workflow. I know that there's going to be a bajillion tutorial videos that are going to pop out for this device, but what we're showing off today is how you're actually going to use it. This is the key combos, the way you're going to move around it, the way you're going to select instruments. a bit of the thought process that's going to go into it. This is how that's going to work. And now, after we finish this auto sample, I want to show you an idea of how I think I would use it. And hopefully when they start adding more quality of life features, it gets even better. And we're going to go for like another hour, hour and a half grind on this. So if you're down to hang out with me. We're talking, we're chilling, we're looking at this new unit. This is a good time, this is a fun time, this is something that we do with my community, the EZBOT community. You can join the Discord, will be a link in the comments section. Otherwise, there's a link in the comments section on all the videos on my channel. Join, it's free. We talk about Elektron stuff, we talk about all sorts of stuff, M8 Tracker. It's a great community to hang out in. And if you want to get your hands on, we're just gonna do a little commercial here. If you want to get your hands on stuff like my light up LED cables that let you know when they're plugged in. There's a couple different color variations. Those are available on modbang.com. But yeah, this is a bit of the process. I kind of like this. This auto sampler is so sick because I can set up a patch on, say, like my Moog, which is actually an idea that I'm having. So taking my grandmother, or like Bitwig, for instance, and make something dope in Bitwig's grid and just turn the auto sampler on and snag that and bring it over. I don't think that you can bring over auto sample, like, I don't know if there's a format that it understands yet. Maybe somebody has the manual and they've cracked that open, that there's a format for bringing over your own samples. Here we go. It auto names it Overcast Swarm, whatever. Press no to exit. Now we can leave. I just went to the MIDI channel too, so that we could audition the patch. Otherwise, that's not really how you'd use it. Let's just go to track 5. The reason I keep going to track 5 for the melodic stuff, let me switch back, sorry. It finished sampling, it gave it a name. It doesn't assign it to a track like the Octatrack does. When you finish sampling, it goes like, where do you want to assign? Or the Dig Attack goes, where do you want to assign the sample? Or when you save a sample on the Octatrack, it asks you where you want to assign. This doesn't ask you where you want to assign, it creates an instrument and you grab that instrument when you're ready. I like this idea. So this is my idea of what you're going to do, or what you can do with this unit. Make my voice a little bit louder. So here's my idea. Tracks 1 through 4 are subtracks. So maybe you treat it like you would an M8 Tracker. If you're familiar with the M8 Tracker, this lovely device here, it's kind of got a similar workflow. So it has like a super track, so to speak, on it. It's sequencer tracks. These effects lanes, they affect everything on these tracks. This is kind of essentially what a subtrack is, except for subtracks go another layer deeper and have individual tracks. Now the subtracks, what's interesting about subtracks, I mean, we just did the multi-sample and we're gonna get to it. But what's interesting about subtracks is, you load up a subtrack and bring our volume back. And it populates all these 8 tracks. They all have their own filter, but they don't have their own modulators and they don't have their own effects. So when you want to actually put an effect on a track, you have to hold track and select the actual track. Now you're on the super track. These are subtracks. This is super track. So when you're on the super track, you can put down sequencer steps and like your step edit. And now you see how it lit up red? Because that means that we're actually, placed down a step there. This is kind of a cool kit. So my idea that I'm thinking that I'm going to do is put subtrack, 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 and just load it up with all sorts of cool samples, but really be like kick, snare, clap, hat, open hat. But have all these different options of sounds to also add on that track. Or load up kits of hats, or load up kits of kicks, like 8 kicks, 8 snares, 8 claps, 8 whatever, and have all these variations that I can program and like get really granular with and really surgical with, having these cool unique sounds that fit within the sound profile of that instrument. So this is the idea that I'm going to kind of pursue this week now that I'm allowed to play with this publicly. I'm going to be playing with it all the time because it'll be on the table along with all the other Elektron gear. Although it doesn't merge with them very well. let me go to track 5 and let's grab that multi-sample. So I'm gonna go function source, go back to the multiplayer, and down at the very bottom, holding function and cruising down, we should see overcast swarm. This is the multi-sample that we just made. Sounds just like this. Well, it sounds kind of like it. Cool. And we can load some effects on it. It's routed into A and B. Let's put something cool like a Phase 99. And let's go into an actual, like a more unique scale. We know I love Dorian. Let's hang out in Dorian. We'll use the guide, snap. This is a multi-sample, which is cool. I don't know if I want to use that effect, actually. Saturator delay. Oof. So we made this sound from scratch, which is cool. Got some vibrato on it. It's multi-sampled, so it's, you know, high quality samples at every level. I don't know what that sounds really good. I don't know what sample rate, what bit rate or sample rate that it's sampling at. I'm assuming 48. It can play sample rates much higher than that, but I'm assuming it samples at 4816, maybe 4824. Oof. I would really like to see choose the sub notes like you can on the Digatone. The note editor on the Digatone is off the chain. That's why I don't think this is going to be a replacement of anything that they have. I think this is in addition to the boxes. The boxes that they already have out. Shortcut to turning scale on and off. That's cool. Recall memorize is cool. What did I really... You know, I want to show off all the things that they've never had before. We've already been looking at this routing system. You know, you're going to use it when you have an idea that it makes sense with. It just gives you all the options. There's another, I'm not even going to mention its name, but there's another device out that's pretty similar in functionality when it comes to the multi-sampler and the routing stuff that you can buy. I prefer this one, personally. I won't say what it is, but there's another device that is very similar in architecture to the way that this functions. I love this filter. I think it's maybe the best filter they've made. The saturator delay is cool, but I don't know if I like this, if I want the saturation. The low pass filter is really interesting because it has this stereo spread. Hear that? What? It's a lot like the filter in my little modular case right here. It's so strange, and it has all these built-in modulation stuff that like it's made a bunch of assumptions for you. Cool. So you don't have to use your LFO for that. Kind of reminds me of the model cycles stuff, or like the model cycles stuff or Syntact, where these engines have like these full-on built-in concepts. Sounded pretty hot. A lot of resonance on this filter. Oh my god. Let's just make some like W track. We're already at the right tempo. Yeah, we're already at the right tempo. We could do it. I'll drop it down below. Just a wee bit. 8 bars. Put our chord on step 1. Is it gonna program the whole chord? No. Am I muted? I am. Okay. The chord mode apparently can only be programmed live. Yeah. I don't know what else to say. I guess that's just how it works. I don't know. Well, I guess we'll record it live then. We'll need a metronome. Can't have that last chord in there. And I can't audition it. Oh, that auditions it. Oh, it does let me audition the whole chord. Will it play that chord now? I don't know. Wish we could page loop. That's nice. Alright, let's turn off this metronome now. Not that. Hold on a second. I do like the sound of the metronome. At least they got a good sound there. Let's see what happens when we try and do like some dub techno. Put in a sub track. That's nice. Okay. So my idea, let me see if I copy the instrument, copy track, if I go here and paste it, will it paste the subtrack? Wait, I did the wrong thing. God damn it. I go here, copy that, go here and paste it. Did it paste the subtrack? Is this being run through the effects block or something? I don't understand that. They're all the same sound, huh? Oh, it's the chord mode. Jesus Christ. Chord mode affects the subtracks. Those are weird. We're not doing that. Here. Okay. Always move your triggers around like that. Maybe I don't like this kit. I do like the sound of that hi-hat, but I think people have the wrong idea about what this is. This is not, it's a sampler because it samples, but it's not a sampler like you think of a sampler, like a Digitact or a tracker or an Octatrack or an MPC. This is not that. This is a sound sculptor, and it does do beats, but it does beats secondary. Like, this is a secondary thing. It's like an accompaniment to the multi-sampling and polyphonic playback. Okay, that's how this needs to be approached. I think that people are getting the wrong idea. I've been reading it a lot since it's this morning release of people talking about it. It's a sampler, it doesn't have time structure, doesn't do that. It's not meant to chop or play beats. You're not meant to do it. Break beats are not happening here. You can do drum and bass and stuff like that, but that's not its purpose. You know what I mean? Like, not to be like defensive or defend the unit, but like, I really mean that. Like, the way you should approach this mentally is that you should be thinking, this is an opinion piece, that you should be thinking about what can I sample and turn into a polyphonic synthesizer? What can I take that doesn't do that naturally? You know, this is something like your Teenage Engineering OP1 does. This is the same mindset. So this is almost like Elektron's version of that, where you can take any sound you want. It's got drum accompaniment. It has polyphonic playback. It has a lot of effects. It has all of these routing options. It's very similar to that unit, right? Except for it's got Elektron sequencer, so it's like 100 times more usable in my opinion. I mean, that's my opinion on it. Imagine the easy service of the Tonverk. It should still be able to slice and stretch. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. You know, there are stuff that I want this unit to do that it doesn't do, and it's not slice and stretch. I mean, that's sick to have slice and stretch, sure, that would be dope. The stuff I want on it is just that I want it to do exactly the same things that the sequencer and the stuff that the Digitact and Digatone does. That's what I want it to do. I want to have the same like auditioning capabilities, pattern mutes instead of just global mutes, stuff like that. Compressor with the sidechain input on the buses like it does, or a compressor routing section. We can route to buses, but we can't put a sidechain ducking on those buses. So like there's those features that I'm waiting for it to happen. When that happens, this unit will easily jump into my set and possibly replace the Digatone too. But currently I need those features for the way that I produce, and those aren't here. But it has these really dope features that I think are about sound sculpting. Like you don't necessarily, I've been saying that you need that it pairs so well with a modular synth, and I think it really does, but I think that it also could replace a modular synth, because you can start with pretty much any sound. It's got so many modulators and so many different effects that do the stuff that your modular does, even granular to a degree with the pitch delay, that it could potentially replace a modular system just by having single cycle waveforms, or you know, just tones or whatever, wavetables. Bring a bunch of wavetables. Doesn't have wavetables in it by default, I don't think, but like this thing would shine, absolutely shine with wavetables. There's no reason not to throw a bunch of wavetables in here if you have them. All right, we're making dub, and it sounds freaking sick. I mean, this sounds really clean. I like it. This sounds more, this sounds cleaner than my Digitact 2, I think. And I think that's because of the samples. But that sounds really nice. That little delay on that hi-hat really did the trick. Go to this kick real quick and add a little something, something. You can't audition. So I'm so used to this workflow, hold a step and hit yes, and it's right there, you know, like, I mean, this would be over here, but I want that. I want that. Yeah, that sounds pretty nice. Maybe I need a new kit for this one. That works for me. Was on the wrong one. Damn it. That hits a lot harder than back to where I was. Track 2, this is the subtrack I'm trying to get to. Let's do that. I could also just load a sample. Like, what am I doing? I just want to clap. Just go like this. Just go and get a clap. Tonverk library. Single samples, drum hits, claps. Process. It's loaded. I don't see that it's loaded, but it's loaded. Right? No. Oh, there it is. Okay, it is loaded. Damn, that reverb is huge. So maybe this needs its own reverb instead of a send reverb. Make a shorter reverb for it. Oh, I'm gonna do that. We gotta do it on the bus. We'll send it to bus 4. We'll go to the bus and do it. Bus 4, reverb, Superloid. Make it a really short reverb. And then there we go. That's what I wanted, and I made it. That's awesome. That's cool. See, that's cool, right? I gotta pick a new reverb. I still have my big send reverb, and I have this reverb. That's so sick, and I have 4 of them. We could have another effect. That is really cool. What else would we want to do? Filter bank, I really like filter bank, and you can modulate these, but you don't have 8 LFOs. And there's no built-in LFO for it. I don't really... This effect I don't understand as much, so I don't really hear it as much. To me, it's more like an EQ, as opposed to like what you would think of a filter bank, where it's like making weird sounds. Not so much. This is more like just like tweak it till you find the right sound. Like that. We like that, don't we? Actually, kind of does sound good. I'm gonna leave it. Okay, now let's put a bass in. Do like we do on a dig attack to go searching. Single samples. Vice. Hit. Oof. That sounds nice. That's closer to what I usually do. That's cool. I'm gonna stick with that nice sounding one. Right here. Because it fits the mood, for sure. But I can play that polyphonically. I guess crazy. Page 8. I know it's there. That works. arpeggio going. I haven't played with that yet. Single player, I guess. These. I wish I could audition them. Let's do this. We can actually audition these. Whoops. That's that. That's very housey. I mean, why can't I stop going to these? This is what I want. I want this full of real instruments. I hope somebody makes a bunch of packs of like wind instruments and cellos and stuff. Like, that's so cool. I don't have that in my Elektron boxes. This sounds awesome. What? Pure saw. Sounds pretty sick. Those are single cycle waveforms, but they're not oscillating. Ooh. Those are my sounds. Put them all in caps, I guess that's nice, so I can find them. Let's get back to that. Cool. Cool. I'll have to do the arpeggiator in a second. This is just too wild. Jesus Christ. There's a spot in there I didn't like very much. Yeah, that note. That was stupid. Damn it. There we go. JRPG town music. Yeah. I always love that sample rate reduction, bit reduction. One note where it's just too short. Comes straight from Oakland. Alright, we go. Where is it? Let's actually do the arpeggiator. Oh, I did that sample twice, that's cool. What's a really easy move in this scenario is to go to our chord track, which is this one, right? Oh. I believe that's the one. It's our bass, that's our lead. Go to our chord track and copy the whole sequence and go to this track, paste it, and then just have the arpeggiator on. There you go. Copy the page. There we go. Ooh, interesting. That's cool. Like, that's pretty sick. Here we go. There is a song mode. I'm now in song mode, and we can edit song mode. And then you press the 1. Wait, no. Take me back. Song mode, edit. There we go. Song mode's a little bit limited compared to the other song modes, but there is a full song mode. It does not have the mutes in the song mode, which I hope they add, because that's a big part of song mode to me. I did notice, this is a thing, is that you can copy the mute state, but the mute states aren't memorized anywhere. So I don't know what that means, or if that's alluding to something that comes later. What is that? Oh, that's our other. Oops. Oh, man. Stereo field. Sounds insane. cool. Can't really hear that. Wait, what do I want? Tune. Huh? Oh, it's the wrong one. These are effects. There's one for the effects. There we go. Ooh. A routing LFO. I didn't know about this. An LFO for your send? That's sick. Set it to random. Random smooth. So random with slew. Random effect send? Whoa, that's crazy. What happens when you pull out the card? It gets upset. Tells you not to do that. You want to power down the machine when you pull the card out. I mean, you don't have to, but like, that's what you should do. I like this random effect send. It's so cool. Never seen that before. Never even thought of that. So another cool thing that you can do, let's go to another pattern. I'm like, we're just trying to take it through its paces because this is the most I've gotten to, like, this is the deepest I've gotten to play with it because I'm always on my other boxes. And so this has been on the side and I've been digging into it. I learned how to use it, but this is like the most music I've made on it. And we've made some, this is beautiful sounding. Like, this is a cool little pattern. Like, this is a great little groove. It sounds crazy pretty compared to the stuff I would be making in terms of like it's how clean it is. So very impressed by the sound quality, that's for sure. But if so if we go back to track A, we turn this back into a MIDI track, turn that back on. We can go into routing and we can route the incoming audio through a track and then use the sequencer. That's done here in the master. Go to the master, and here we can say go to track 1 or bus 1. Let's go to track 1 though. Go to track 1. So now we've routed my synth into that track. Whoops. Go to track 8. Alright, so now let's go to track 1 and turn on some effects, or even this. We gotta go to 8 now and do that though. So it's coming into track 1's effects. And then we can go and load a bunch of effects on here. Be really cool if you were like running a modular drum groove in here, and then you can mess with it on here, like you would on the Octatrack. But quite different. I imagine like with like, and maybe I'll do this with like a good MIDI controller. I could map, like create a template on here with the MIDI controller that does like live effects with these effects, and it does have all this stacking, so you could create some stuff, but you wouldn't be able to do a lot of my favorite stuff, which is like beat repeat plus a filter plus a sequence. But you could do some cool stuff for sure still. Let's see. Maybe we just like... Maybe back to my 7th chord. Whoa. So now I'm using this as an effects box. I am not using any effects in my modular. I'm just sending this little polysynth into the Tonverk. And those are the Tonverk's effects. And I have a ton of them. We're running through track 1, so I could actually use all the send effects that are here, all of track 1's effects, and then if I wanted, I could route track 1 into a bus and use even more effects. So I have this massive stack. Let's see how many effects we can stack. This is a fun game. Let's see how many stack effects we can stack. We have, let's get the delay on here. Ping pong that sucker. Filter that sucker for sure. Back to track 1 real quick. Or no, track 8 I mean. Ah, we've stacked a couple of effects. Let's keep stacking. So now let's route track 1 into bus 1. Oh, whoops, those are the buses. Track 1 into bus 1, and let's go to bus 1 and start stacking its effects. So now we can add something else, like a dirt shaper or a degrader. We love to degrade here. Turn that up. I wish I could, I mean, for me to have something. Listen to how many, we're at 4 effects now. Or 3 insert effects. It's kind of a crazy effect. I know we're on the bus effects section. Let's do a different one. I do like this. I do think this is cool. But I need to have a sequence, just play a chord or something. Just leave a chord running. And we'll put... Yes. This is effect number 4 in a row. Yeah. Sidebands. Just having some trouble with that one. And then you can route your bus out to something else and have that come, well, it couldn't come back in, I guess, but it still has to go to the main mix. Now we can give it as send. Alright, now let's hear it. This is what's going on. So I muted the tracks, but the effects still apply. That's pretty good to know when you're doing the incoming audio. It does feel like you're stuck on... It does sound insane. I mean, we stacked a lot of effects. I mean, you can't stack that many effects and have it stay like sounding very good without sequencing the effects. I kind of wish I had an external like a Bacillus iteratus or something like that, or a Percons running into it, so I could really like grab little moments of incoming audio and sequence them, because I would really show that off. But I don't have that hooked up right now. But I do think sequencing some effects is a cool idea for us. Like, that doesn't sound bad. Like, we could sample that. Go to the recorder. And just sample. We could sample max length would be fine. Sample source is the incoming audio. I guess, yeah, I guess we want to sample the mains because it's a weird sound. Oh man, that's pretty. All right, here we go. We're gonna sample this because this is dope sounding. So cool. So I sampled the internal effects, my external effects, and an external synthesizer in a couple of minutes. Like, we went through and messed with this, and we made this sample. It's huge. It's so stereo. All right, let's save it. I don't know. I don't know what it is. I don't know what chord that is. Chord mod 1. Maybe we could do a couple of them or something. Assign sample. Hey. All right. Put on track 5. Cool. So what does that do to track 5? It makes it a single player. But we want it to be a mono sample. Which means we go file, preset. No. Setup. There's the cool filter adjustment that you can do. Oh, here we go. We want it to be mono, like that'd be crazy sounding. Loop mode sustain. Nice. Okay. Even though we're in chord mode, it doesn't matter because I made the sample mono. Oh, let's do it. Let's do it. 180. Whoa, 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 whoa. I forgot about the other stuff. Hang on. We gotta clear this pattern. Yes, clear the whole pattern. What are you asking me for? Do what I want. Let's just try 4 on the floor here. Oh my god. Great, new. I've never done that. Oh. It's just a bunch of blank samples. That sucks. I'd rather use one. That works. Send that to yourself. God damn it. Sequence lane? Yeah, I do want to be on that one. That's awesome. No, I don't like it. Oh, that's kind of disturbing. It's cool that you have spread built into your filter. Oh, that's right. This is on super track, so if you use any effects, it affects everything. I really just like stuff like what was that? I guess do that too. No, that sounded really dumb. Whoa. That one sounded so cool. Oh, let's go back to that chord. It's actually not bad. Oops. That's pretty cool. Oh my god, that's cool. something screwed up somewhere. Here. Right? It should be on this page. Oh, there it is. That's my problem. I was like, what is going on with that? Let's crank this sample back up. What do we got? right skill anymore. Goodness gracious. What if we had, like, multiplied these kids? Like, we just copy this track, go to this track and paste it. Copy. Here. Paste. Incompatible tracks. What's on 2? Copy. Paste. Incompatible tracks. What does that mean? What do you mean, incompatible tracks? Yeah, okay, whatever. I did it before. Oh, it has to, like, have it. Okay, I get it now. Okay, now I can do it. So now I can go copy. That sounds super dumb. What? Why not copy the whole thing? Copy all of them. Copy the sequence. I gotta copy and paste the sequence of every track in a subtrack? Well, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. Not today. make that like cool like sound that's happening here. Like reduce percentage of whether it actually happens. Maybe give it some cool effects. How about you go up an octave? Ooh, we're down an octave. Sounds really good. Filter is so good. There we go. I can inspect my P-locks and not affect my triggers, which is unique. That's why it's in light red. Like that first page got ruined. Where's the page 8? I mean, it needs to be reworked, but the idea is solid. That's pretty cool. What page is that? 5? Where's that one? No. Find it. It's on bar 7, right? We've made 3 songs so far. First one's too loud. I think it's probably my favorite one. Of course, they're getting better as we progress. We haven't used any fill conditions. We did some sampling. Super track. Whoa, crazy. Master Effects section, if you couldn't tell. Cool. Can we do some weird stuff? no, so we go wet, we go dry, feedback all the way down. Does some weird stuff. That kick. Well, we've been jamming for a while. We're almost at 3 hours. Holy smokes. Yeah, we've been jamming on it for a while. Let's do a little Q&A before we go. And and see what we come up with. Came back and you're still, yeah, I'm still here. Thanks for all the tips from folks today. That was nice. No overbridge. No overbridge yet. What's my feeling? It's a good question. I like it. I like the sounds that I get from it a lot. I am very, very used to a very particular workflow with my other Elektron boxes. I feel like this is kind of a standalone piece for me right now. Like this. So here's an idea. You could take this and use these separate outputs as 2 outs, and you could use the Octatrack. And so I have an idea of using this plus the Octatrack and sending my drums out to one side of my Octatrack so that I do my performance mixers, and send the drums to one side of the Octatrack, send the melody out to another side on the Octatrack, and just use those two as my whole shtick. And, you know, play some music like this, but have the drums go out and use Octatrack effects, live effects, plus this for sound designing effects instead of, you know, this isn't really a live effects type box, but I think this could pair really well with Octatrack because of the multi-outs and the Octatrack's multi-ins. And so you can send stuff into the Octatrack, send stuff back out from the Octatrack, back into this, and sample that and destroy it. Like, I think that they're like this, what do they call it? Aurora, what is it? Aurora Borat or something, or whatever. The snake that eats itself. Anyway, that's kind of what it is. You could totally do that. Drambo in a box. Can you use the ARP on a subtrack? You can. Yes, we can go to the subtrack and can totally use the ARP on subtracks. ARP on subtracks. So yeah, basically if you want, you have 64 monophonic tracks. So if you wanted, you could use all the tracks as subtracks and have a different drum for every track. And then you could just like sub out different kicks, send them to different buses. It's pretty insane. What other questions do we have while I'm here? Can you send the Octatrack into it to get better sound quality? Unfortunately not. Would the Tonverk fit anywhere in my own setup? No, I don't think it will fit into my setup currently. I think it will fit into its own setup. I think it's its own thing, and I'm gonna have to use it. Like I said, it doesn't have pattern mutes. I heavily rely on pattern mutes. It could fit into my setup. No, I mean, it could fit into my setup. It could. I don't know what I'm talking about. It totally can. I just have to be more hands-on with its mutes. It just means that I kind of rely on this workflow where the mutes are already prepared when I move to a new pattern so that I can, you know, unmute things when I get to that pattern or have things already unmuted. Whatever, right? Pattern mutes. That's a huge part of my workflow is pattern mutes. This doesn't have that yet, even though you can copy mute states. So I think that it will happen since you can copy mute states, but maybe it won't happen. It's very much like a Mark II unit that looks a little bit like a Digatone. So currently it will be its own thing in my studio. I think I'll make music on it and run it with probably use it as a sound maker and even sample it maybe into my Digitact for shows or into my M8. I think the M8 paired with it would be pretty sick. There is a Alchemy asks if there's granular. There's not granular per se, but there is the pitch delay, which you can hear on this track. If I mute this. Do you hear that? There's that pitch. That sounds super cool. Anyway, I can't nail it again. That's got like a granular thing to it. Like you can make it sound like granular. It'll sound a lot like beats, just little teeny delay moments. It'll grab little tiny moments and repitch them. So it sounds like granular to me. If you send it 100% wet, it will sound a lot like granular. How performative does it feel? It feels pretty hard. I'm not gonna lie. It's not like hard as in like there's heavy things in the way. There's a lot to think about. So like if you want to get to your subtracks, you know, you got to remember to go to this track and then remember what track is on your subtrack. And if you have multiple subtracks, that's gonna be a thing. Fortunately, the mutes do let you see the subtracks, but like you still have to select the track to see the mutes of that subtrack. And if you have audio, like say you have some program stuff running through a bus, and you have some stuff programmed on here and you're parameter locking some effects in your bus, you need to remember what track is being sent to there, but also like what you have there, because there's so many tracks of sequencing very complex and strange things and ways to route those tracks. So I think like a good workflow would be to just like remember to remember to mute your buses sometimes. Like if you're confused or lost, and just, you know, have your audio tracks play and forget about your buses sometimes. Use the buses as effect sends. You know what I mean? Like that's pretty cool. You could kind of use it as a performance effect. You could just go. But you can't send them to multiple buses. You just send them to a bus. So you could potentially put an effect like there's not a multi-mode filter on the buses. That's the thing. There is a low-pass filter, but not a multi-mode filter. So you can't use a high-pass filter on a bus. That part bums me out. You can use a high-pass filter on a master track, but not on a bus. One thing I would have showed off immediately, if it was possible, is to do ducking. And there is no way to do ducking on it. I did find a way to do ducking that is whack. But potentially, you could do two different things. You could route all of your audio out, C and D, and or how did it go? You would just have, you would route your audio out C and D instead of using the AB bus. And you would put like whatever you wanted to duck, run it out of the AB bus, and run the AB bus back into A and B inputs. And then you could use the compressor to target the kick, and then it would duck on the parts you wanted to duck via the AB outs. Otherwise, the mod envelope, which there is a mod envelope, I'll give you an example. Let's just go to a new pattern here. Okay, we're in a new pattern. We'll no sounds. Just grab anyone. Okay, say I want to duck this sound. Get out. Trigger. 16 steps. Okay, so I want it to duck every 4 steps, every quarter note. So I go to my mod envelope. We have a real mod envelope, and it can go negative, so it's bipolar. I would want to target my volume, right? Here we go. Okay, so it's working on the first step, and it sounds pretty cool. But now I want to put it on this step. And have that reset. But it ignores that step. You can hear it doing something. But there's something about it. Yeah. Like it's... I don't know. I can't get it to duck, like on quarter notes. I can with the LFO, but not with the mod envelope. Wait. Wait, is that why? Did I just do it? Am I a fool? Wait. Why won't it do it on these other two? Yeah. I can't. It works on the first two. This is something I came across. It works on the first, like, 5 or 6 steps, the mod envelope for ducking, but I can't get it to go any... Can't get it to reset again. Whatever I did, I just, like, ruined it altogether now. Does it need to go, like, back up? Sounds kind of cool, though. Out of here. That. This is why you want to put some of the sounds on their own subtracks. but I wish I could duck it. I know what I want to do. Use its own delay. Keep it mono. Yes. add more delay. Cool. Well, we made music on the new Tonverk for 3 hours and 10 minutes. Thanks for hanging out with me while we did that. This was really fun. We made a bunch of patterns. We made a bunch of different styles of music. We got some drum and bass in there. We got some weird, trippy, dubby stuff. Some house music. Made some house. Got some drum and bass. That thing turned out pretty freaking awesome. Definitely sounds good. I feel like you could, like, we could really get nasty on this thing for sure. Like, yeah, I feel like I'm gonna be playing with this for a long time. Tonverk, it's here. I need to update it with the new firmware. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out. I'm gonna let you go. I feel like this has been a long demonstration of the Tonverk, making different styles of music, using the sampler, using the auto sampler, using the effects buses, changing the effects ends, playing with the routing, stacking effects, using MIDI. There is a MIDI arpeggiator. We didn't talk about that. I don't know if it was my Monumatic or my Tonverk. I'm not really sure. I was having a little bit of catchy notes with a little bit when I was using it, but which is why we didn't use it. But there is a MIDI arpeggiator, and I'm sure it works perfect in the one that you pick up. I'm still on the beta firmware. So yeah, pretty cool. I'm excited about it. It's going to be on the table all the time now because it's going to be the place where I make insane sounds. I just can't make sounds like that anywhere else other than my computer, and I don't want to be on my computer. I just don't. I'm going to be on my computer after this. You know, I'm just going to sit there and do stuff. But really awesome. My impression of the unit is that it is extremely unique, I think, in terms of difficulty. And I rank units in difficulty. I do private lessons. So if anybody wants to take private lessons with me, visit EZBOT.live or join the Patreon. There's a lessons tier on the Patreon. A lot of times I'll rank like what is difficult of a unit for you to pick up. If people go, I want to get my first piece of Elektron, what should I get? My answer is always get a Dig Attack 2 as your first piece of Elektron kit. Always, over a Model Cycles or a Samples or a Digatone or a Rhythm or an Octatrack or a Tonverk. I will always say get that first if you want to get into the Elektron ecosystem. This unit, this Tonverk, is definitely the most unique, powerful thing they've made besides the Octatrack, no doubt in my mind. It is also going to be the most difficult for you to wrangle in terms of like live performance and stuff. This is going to be a really long learn for me and for everyone else. to really get a grip of this unit. There's no doubt in my mind about that. I do think it's worth it, and I feel like I learned it a lot today. 3 hours of hardcore playing with the Tonverk. I learned a lot about how I want to use this thing. The stuff that I made that I liked the most was this. I really think this sounds awesome, and like I like this, and I would like to make more of this. So I have become more excited about the unit myself just today as I've been playing on it, and I also think this sounds really good. It just sounds really good. That, I guess, my most positive impression of the unit is that it sounds excellent. This is probably the best sounding thing Elektron has made. It just is beautiful sounding. All the samples that it comes with are just freaking awesome. The effects sound really good. I anticipate more effects coming and more quality of life features coming to it too that are just going to make this thing extremely stand out from the rest of Elektron's lineup. That's for sure. Things I wish it had: pattern mutes, sidechain, the mod envelope worked in a way that I understood a little better. What else? Pattern mutes in the song mode. Overbridge, eventually. I'm sure it'll get overbridge eventually. Everything does. That's like kind of the Elektron's thing. I wish the chord thing had a couple, like did the sub-octaves. I wish it had a note editor that was like, kind of like the Digitone's note editor. I love the Digitone's note editor. But I really do think it's a really cool unit. I wish it came with more classic multi-sampled sounds. I love what it did come with. They're really unique and they're very Elektron sounds. And the people who contributed to this, like all the people who, if you look at the list of the contributors, it makes sense what sounds are inside this box. If there was like some sort of like Yamaha person who contributed, which they didn't, you would find violins and orchestras and lots of different kinds of grand pianos and upright pianos and stuff like that. I do wish that those were here. I would like to play with those sounds, and I don't have those sounds, and I'm not sure how to put them into the unit. So that I need to figure out, and I would like to do. So I would love to have violins and cellos and grand pianos in this so I can use them with my Elektron stuff, because I can't in my other Elektron boxes. So this has that ability. I want it. So I think that'd be really cool. Hopefully we'll see some packs, multi-sample packs of some classic wind and brass and instruments, and we'll all be happy campers. But yeah, sound packs galore. I'm sure there's gonna be just tons of sound packs, and it's gonna be really cool. I dig it. I think, again, I'm gonna say pair this with your modular synth. You're gonna have such a good time. Do it using the auto sampler. Set up a dope patch on your modular, hit that auto sampler, and just make some multi-sample presets. They're insane, and you can do multiple velocity levels, and you have to use velocity modifiers in your modular to have that really make an effect. But you can have it essentially be velocity 1 is, or this section of velocity triggers Platt's model, saw model, and velocity level 3 triggers Platt's model, the physical modeling synthesis model on it. And you can have that be a single preset that you can modulate with the velocity in the Tonverk and then run it through its effects. There's ideas like that are what makes this a very Octatrack styled machine, however, not like the Octatrack at all. It's because you can think those thoughts and make them a reality. That's not something you can do very easily on any other Elektron box. And that's where I think this really is going to shine, is for people who are highly creative with routing and really enjoy that process of coming up with a sound they've never heard before. That's what this is going to do. And I really look forward to seeing what people do. I'm sure it's going to be sick, and I can't wait to get those sample packs from folks who really dive in and make some crazy stuff. I'm going to make a bunch of sample packs. This gives me a reason to plug my modular in again, a new reason for me to put my weirdest modules in my effects and make a really cool chain and then trigger it with my Tonverk. So I'm pretty excited about it. I think it's a really cool unit. I am going to say it is not easy. I don't think this is a beginner synthesizer. or beginner sample player or beginner sampler. It does have some like auto features, but I would say this is not beginner. So yeah, you're gonna have to learn a lot and read the manual. I did twice, and it's a read. So anyway, everybody, thanks for hanging out, and really appreciate you sticking with me for over 3 hours while we dive into the Tonverk. This is maybe one of the longest streams I've done, but I could have kept going. I'm just getting a little tired now. And we made some cool music. We learned quite a bit about the Tonverk. Learned that it sounds very good. If you want to support this channel, you can visit patreon.com/EZBOT. That's my Patreon. That pays for me to do this. That pays for the new camera that's going to show up today. There's going to be a new cam, which I'm very excited about. That pays for microphones and all, everything to make this channel continue to go so that we can do these deep dives, hours and hours of deep dives. We do them every single week, plus we do video releases here. And you can find all sorts of templates and rewards and stuff like that on my Patreon. That's patreon.com/EZBOT. If you also want to pick up stuff like these cool glow-in-the-dark or LED MIDI cables, that's modbang.com, and or Perfect Circuit. They're available at Perfect Circuit if you'd like to pick them up there too. I would really appreciate the support. That also really supports the channel and keeps me cooking. Everybody, you're the best. Thank you, Elektron, for sending me this unit. Super fun. I love it. And I'm excited to see what I do with my Octatrack. So we're going to definitely do a session with it and the Octatrack, just the two of them. And I'm going to talk about some cool routing options and how you can use them together, especially with my performance templates. Thank you for hanging out. My name is Matthew, aka EZBOT. I'll see y'all next time.